Could I have your attention this morning? Every bit of it. Could I have every child and every teenager listening carefully this morning? We live in a world of selfishness. Everybody has the idea that if he can get something else, he'll be happy. That dress in the window at the corner store is exactly what I need, she says, to make me happy. Or that boy that is the captain of the basketball team, he's exactly what I need to make me happy. Or that Olympic gold medal. By the way, pray for Jim Ryan. And pray for the White Sox, too. But that's exactly what I need to make me happy. Teachers won't even teach school because they want more money. And what they don't realize, if they'd forget the money and think about the pupils, they'd find the happiness they think they'll get when they get the money. Firemen go on strike. They want more money. Policemen leave their posts. They want more money. Hospital nurses go on strike. They want more money. Ever grasping, ever longing, ever searching, ever seeking for that elusive thing we call happiness. And never finding it. Never finding it. Could I help you this morning? You know, did you ever want to help somebody so bad that you just hurt to do it? That's the way I feel about my people on this subject. When I get to this subject, I want to cry and I want to beg and I want to get on my knees and I want to plead. There's nothing as empty as the self-life. Nothing. There's nothing in this world that will leave you swinging at the air as did the wise King Solomon, and nothing that will leave you as void of what you're looking for as the self-life. What's in it for me? How did he treat me? What did she do to hurt me? What has he done to ruin me? Me. And ever searching, ever grasping, ever reaching, ever seeking something we never find. And will not find it until we lose ourselves. Please let me help you this morning. The Apostle Paul says, I've learned in whatsoever state I am therewith to be content. Somebody said he had never been to the state of Kentucky. You can even be content in Kentucky if you'll find this truth this morning. Paul said, I've learned in whatsoever state I am therewith to be content. Now, the word content, are you listening? The word content means inside sufficiency. That's what it means. Paul said, my happiness is not determined by where I live, or what I have, or how much I own, or how I'm treated. He said, there is not one whit of my happiness that is caused by circumstances. You ever hear anybody say, how you doing? Well, pretty good, under the circumstances. Brother Roloff says, get on top of them circumstances. Dr. Rice says, you're not under circumstances, you're under grace. Under circumstances, We have a lady in this church. I'd never dare ask her how she feels. You know why I wouldn't? I did. I don't have time to find out again. Paul said, he said, that which makes me happy is on the inside. He said, I have a sufficiency internally that counteracts or overbalances any inconvenience of the outside. He said, my happiness is on the inside. My peace is on the inside. My joy is on the inside. You said, I could just get a season ticket to the Chicago Bears games? Oh, good night. If they get a quarterback, you won't have fun anyhow. See, if I could just get me a wardrobe like so-and-so, if I could just get me a nice house like so-and-so, if I could get that car like so-and-so. No, you'll be as miserable as so-and-so when you get all so-and-so's got. Paul said, content. What is contentment? It is inner sufficiency. Not the condition on the outside, but the condition on the inside. Sometimes, and I think I said this the other night, you stop to realize sometimes how little Paul ever talked about where he was. He rimmed the Mediterranean Sea, and the most beautiful sea in all the world, I guess, and never one time even told us of its beauty. Now, if I had written these letters, I'd have said, boy, you ought to see what I've seen today. Paul didn't mention that. Paul saw I think the most beautiful spot on the face of the earth that my eyes have ever feasted upon is the Aegean Sea and the Grecian Isles. And Paul literally spent days and weeks and months. And never one time did Paul stop to describe the beauty of the Aegean Sea or the Grecian Isles. Paul preached within a stone's throw of the starts to say Pentagon. Can't think of it all of a sudden. Parthenon, yeah, Pentagon. I preached in a stone's throw of the Pentagon last week. In fact, I threw a few stones. So I know it's true. But Parthenon, Paul preached on Mars Hill, and there was a Parthenon right across the street, just within a stone's throw. Paul didn't say, whoa, man, no, didn't say a word about it. Why? Paul said, it's on the inside. I can be in prison, and I'm happy. I can be in jail, and I'm happy. I can be beaten, and I'm happy. I can be hated, and I'm happy. I can be forsaken, and I'm happy. I can be alone, and I'm happy. I can be broke, and I'm happy. I can be hungry, and I'm happy. I can be in want, and I'm happy. Well, why, Paul? Because my happiness doesn't come from how much I have to eat or how much I don't have to eat. And my happiness doesn't come by how pretty the house or if I live in a pup tent. And my happiness doesn't come by how much money I have in the bank or if I'm flat busted. And my happiness doesn't come if I'm elected the most popular boy of the senior class or don't have a single friend. My happiness doesn't come from where I live or what circumstances under which I live or how much I have to eat or how much money I have in the bank. Paul said, I have learned in whatsoever state I am, therewith to find an inner sufficiency, something on the inside that'll make me happy. Now listen to me. You have no control over the outside. But you do have control over the inside. And so if you can learn to be happy from within because of the condition of the heart, not the condition of the body. Because of who lives in you, not what you live in. You can learn to be happy because of the inside. That means if you have to wait tables at school, and if you don't have enough money to make ends meet, you can't even afford the ends, you can be happy. And that means if you live in a shack somewhere, if you've got to live in an attic apartment in Indiana Harbor, and breathe soot instead of air, you can be happy. If I just had what she had, I'd be happy. You miserable wretch, you wouldn't be happy if you owned Fort Knox. Paul said, I have learned in whatsoever said him, there was where is he when he writes this? Where is the Apostle Paul when these words are penned? Come with me for a few minutes to a little place just near the Forum in Rome, not far from where the great Caesar spoke, and not far from the Forum itself, to a little place that you go down some stairs now. It's under a building now. It's a place called the Mamertine Prison. You walk down some stairs and you come to a little dungeon-like thing beneath the ground. And there's no light there where Paul is. And there's no company there where Paul is. There's no crowd where Paul is. It's a seeping kind of a damp place. There's a hole right in the middle of the floor. And down, they let the prisoner down through that hole. And if you'll go down, you'll find an inner prison, way down deep, right there by the banks of the river. And you'll find the Apostle Paul in a dark, damp place, and he's lonely, and he's thousands of miles from home. And the Apostle Paul picks up his pen to write us a few words of exhortation. And he says to the Philippian people, he didn't tell where he was. He didn't say, I'm in jail. He didn't complain about his circumstances. He didn't talk about whether it was raining or cold or hot. He didn't talk about whether he was damp or dry. All the Apostle Paul said, from that dark, damp, seeping, cold prison, the Apostle Paul says, I've learned in whatsoever state I am therewith to be content. The Philippian people knew that. Was he not in Philippi in jail one time, down in stocks and bonds in the bottom of the jail? And did he not pause to sing with Silas? And while he sang and praises to God, the prison doors fell open, earthquake came, and he won the prisoner and his family, the prison keeper and his family to Jesus Christ. Now the Apostle Paul's about to send Timothy away, but he still said, I'm happy, I'm content. He's about to send Epaphroditus back to the church at Philippi, and about to be as lonely as he's ever been. And he's facing death. He's about to die. And yet the Apostle Paul learned what most people never learn. If I can get that new car, if I can get that new suit, if I can get that new dress, if I can get that new boyfriend, if I can get that new girlfriend, if I can get that little transistor radio, if I can get that color television set, if I can get that next house, if I can get carpet on my floor, if I can get drapes on my windows, if I can get a new furniture to go with my carpet and drapes, that's what I need. Give me the next thing. Give me the next thing. The Apostle Paul said, no one of them brings happiness. He said, it all comes from the inside, the condition of the inside. Now notice this. He said, I've learned. Let me give you the meaning of those words. Carefully listen to this. The word learn means to initiate into mysteries. To initiate into mysteries. Here's a fellow that joins a secret order. I don't belong to one, have no plans of joining, but the fellow joins a secret order. And he is initiated into that order. And he comes into some mysteries that nobody else knows. He's initiated into some truths that the average person outside that order doesn't know. And Paul said, I have been initiated into a secret order of people that know something the world knows nothing about. Now, what is that something? What is it? Paul, what is it? What have you learned? Now, bear in mind this. Paul did not have a human reason why he should be content. Health, he was in bad health. Money, he was flat busted. Friends, they had forsaken him. Comforts, the bottom of the Mamertine prison. Future, about to die. Pleasure, Paul didn't belong to the bowling league. Paul didn't go to Teeble's to eat lunch once a week. Paul didn't have the normal thing. You say, well, if I had more time with my kids, or if I had more time with my dad, or if I had more time... Oh, brother, Paul said those things are not the things that make me happy. Paul said, I've got something on the inside. He said, an inner sufficiency. It's a secret order. It's something that none of you know anything about. If I could give you one thing that would change your life completely, if I could talk to you... Listen to me, young folks. Hear me while I preach. If I could give you one thing that would change your life completely, I would ask you to lift yourself out of yourself. And do not try to be happy finding happiness where nobody's ever found it in the history of this world. Nobody is going... Well, Paul said, I found some things. Paul, what did you learn? Now, I want to share with you what he learned. The first thing he learned is that you find contentment by knowing Christ. Oh, I don't mean being saved. Let me read for you. And I'll ask you not to turn to it because of time. Let me read for you Philippians chapter 3 and verse 10. You know it, I know it, but I'll read it for you. That I may know Him and the power of His resurrection and the fellowship of His sufferings, being made conformable unto His death. Paul, how in the world can you be happy down in the Mamertine prison? No friends there. Maybe Luke is with you. Timothy is leaving. Epaphroditus is leaving. You're sending him back. Demas has forsaken you, having loved this present world. How can you be happy? You have no wall-to-wall carpet. You have no French provincial furniture. You're in poor health. You're about to be killed. You're chained between two prisoners even now. How can you be happy, Paul? How in the world can you say, I've learned to be contented? First place, Paul said, listen to me now. Paul said, I'm happy because I know Him. Listen to me. they can take away your house. Young people, you listen to me while I preach. That girl with the long hair, about 2 seats in front of that K-beam, look at me while I preach. And don't you move the rest of this sermon, or I'll move you. I'm not going to rear a bunch of heathen around here that go to public meetings and can't even behave. Look at me!